Okay, I'm back. Hi. So I'm just going to continue on while I'm talking. I've got the house to myself, I'm pretty sure, so it's quiet and it's perfect time to get this done. So I am a pretty normally happy-go-lucky, positive, see the silver lining, be kind to people, compassionate, loving, understanding, try to help people whenever I can, put myself in other people's shoes and think about what they go through and try to understand from their point. And I try to have a normal conversation and speak to somebody like an adult when there's an issue, but as much as I would try that with him, it just didn't get anywhere, and it was so hard because I'd never had a relationship like that where there was so much love and happiness and passion and romance, and at the same time so much crap we'd both been through and not dealt with. So it was really hard for me to navigate it, I guess. I was used to one type of love my whole life, I guess, is the only way I can think to say it. And this was completely different, and it was so hard in the sense of it was like I was doing everything for the first time. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it was absolutely wonderful and amazing at the same time. But I did struggle a lot with the self-worth and the self-image because he started to push me away and reject me. I didn't understand it at all, especially when he would be like that, but then when we were around other people, he would be very loving and very lovely in the way he treated me, spoke to me, whatever, exactly like he did in the beginning. So it was very confusing because you kind of didn't know where you were at, and it made it hard. And I tried to talk to him, tried to work on it, didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. And basically, just to sum it up, that was just a continuous thing I felt throughout our relationship, where things would get really good and I felt like it was the person back that I met, and our relationship was back at that point, and everything was amazing and wonderful and perfect and passionate and romantic and loving, and I was just so incredibly happy. And then slowly he would start to push me away again, and I just feel now that I've done some work on myself and I've, thought about things and worked through things and look at things a little bit differently. I feel like he really loved the stage of the relationship where that falling in love feeling, where everything is wonderful and amazing, and I might have said all these loving, nice things to him and constantly gave him compliments and praise, and I came to realize that even though he could come across like he had he was charming and he was flirty and he was fun and he seemed very sure of himself and had confidence and, would always talk about how good he looked and stuff like that in a joking way. But he just came across and portrayed someone so different to who he was inside. And it was like two different versions of him, and I was never sure which version I would be getting, but I didn't feel like he needed to try to be that person for me. I feel like he was doing it more for him. But I saw both versions of him and I loved both versions of him the same, and it was still him. He just didn't want to deal with that version of him, I guess. I'm not even sure this is making sense. Once again, I have to watch back and see. It's so hard sometimes when you feel like you've gone your whole life and not communicating effectively and not being able to say what you think and feel properly, and then you try to. And with fibromyalgia as well, I struggle a lot to communicate. It's hard, but I'm learning, and that's the main thing. I just have to keep an eye on the time. So I think honestly inside he felt very lost a lot of the time, very not confident in himself, not sure of himself, not believing in himself, not seeing his own self-worth. I just feel like he constantly felt like he needed praise and recognition to see that he was a certain way. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to say too much, like I've said. As I said, he had 2 young children when I met him, and I'm not going to say, anything about time frames and stuff like that, but we were together a while, and I don't get to see his children or him or anyone anymore, and that's okay. That's out of my hands, but it's sad and it's hard, and I don't want to say too much about someone else's lives. I hope that made sense. Oh my goodness, today is a day. Of course I get a nice quiet day I can record and my brain just doesn't want to function. Anyway, hopefully it's making some sense. I just basically feel like, when you first start seeing someone, and I don't know, what people realize, but traditionally, the man is meant to chase the woman. I'm not going to say any more than that. But I think that he loved the chasing part. The wooing, the getting you to fall head over heels in love with him and think he was the most wonderful thing you've ever come across, and how incredible he was, and I hope I'm explaining this properly. That's how I felt. And when that would slowly start to fade, and it was just, we were happy, but it was just that normal life routine, and he wasn't getting all of the attention and all of the focus on him, then he would need to do something to get that focus back on him and that attention. And I didn't understand it then, but I do now. So eventually I found more messages with another woman and discovered that he was cheating on me, and we'd gotten married in that time, and we had gone through patches where things would get, not the best. He'd push me away. We'd go back through that. I'd spend a lot of time alone. He would work, be on his phone, and that was it. Not spend much time with me, not have really a conversation with me. He would always be affectionate, and we still always on and off had a passionate relationship and good intimacy, but it was just up and down. It was like we'd be best friends for a while and everything would be great and going wonderful and I'd be happy, and then everything would start going to shit again. And it was just like he would push me away, and then I would get to the point where I had enough. And I can be fiery, I can admit it. I can be, you gotta check the time, strong-willed. But I'm going to end it there, and I'll be back. Bye.